Man United podcast with Bids and Monty. Wow, we have just had the most roller coaster of emotions on that episode. We've just spoke with Ian Marsden. He's a Paralympian, record breaker, Sports Personality of the Year of 2016, and his story is so inspiring. I really need to breathe. It's been one of them episodes. So, if you go over to manmadebeardcompany.co.uk, get your purchases. They have done the world of good for this podcast. They have supported what we're doing. They have supported the message. And on your checkout, you can drop Pody 10 in, and there you will have a nice discount. That's manmadebeardcompany.co.uk. Really, really take on board what this guy is saying. It is really inspirational, inspiring, and to say the least, there was a few rants involved, which you could really tell the passion was there. Enjoy. Ian, welcome to the Men United podcast, man. How have you been doing?
Right, mate. Sound, yeah, busy as usual with training and everything else that goes on and lockdown and all the crap that goes with it.
Yeah, it's been a great year, hasn't it? It's been a great year.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, yeah.
How have you spent this year then?
I suppose like the first lockdown was like lockdown 1 was the best one because the sequels never work as well, do they?
Yeah.
So the original one was the best one, I guess. Although like this time last year, I remember like the outside setting up training, sun's out as well, which really helped, which isn't today. But I think like obviously that being unknown, it was almost quite relaxing. When as athletes, obviously we found out the game's cancelled and that sort of stuff that goes along with that.
Yeah.
Then you sort of weight off your shoulder and sort of just sit back and relax. I don't get time to spend, with the kids. I don't, like I got like a 21-year-old, 16, who turned 16 in the lockdown, 14, and then Charlie is 4. So spending sort of time, perhaps not with the older kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Less time with them the best, but obviously spending time with like Charlie, that was something that I wouldn't do, especially that sort of year in 2020, because obviously you're preparing for the games and sort of big competitions and that, then it's a full-on year.
Yeah.
So that was good. You almost look back and think, I sort of wish I could do it again, but differently. Because we often like in meetings, when we have our meetings, we'll say, what have we learned from lockdown? What can we change, do better in our lives and stuff like that, and the stuff we found out about ourselves. But I'm almost thinking now, if I go back to lockdown, I'd do this differently in lockdown. Perhaps, spend a bit more time doing certain stuff because you know what's going to happen. Where sometimes you're sort of a bit on edge, you're not sure when everything's going to open again, back to training. And then, to be honest, when training goes back as we did, then it's like, it's almost, God's sake, You're training at home, enjoying yourself, but you're training sort of like off script because the script's just been put in the bin. So it's like when you're in like your regen period and you're off to the gym and you just literally, you've got no plan in front of you. You just go in and enjoy yourself, like arm circuit, shoulder circuit, back, whatever you want to do and whatever session you want to do out on your hand by. And there's no pressure to it. But then when you go back to training, you feel like the pressure's starting to build up again, I guess.
Yeah. Say with the training side, seeing some like pictures of you, and I was like, wow, this guy is beast. How often do you train them arms?
Everyone goes on about the arms.
Wow.
To be honest, like I don't train them that much. They are sort of slightly down a bit at the moment on the girls. We do like a lot of skin balls and stuff.
That's as much as I've got, boys.
I probably like maybe twice a week, sometimes once a week. In fact, like there was a guy like when I was in commercial gym, he'd come up to me, like a lot of guys sort of come up to me and say, your arms and stuff, and what do you do?
Yeah.
I just said to the guy, I only train them once a month, you know what I mean? That's all you need. And he goes, yeah, seriously? Yeah, mate, I say just once a month will do. People believe every shit you give them. You know what I mean?
Whatever you do once a month, You need to tell me because boy, I do it at least 3 times a week and look at my sticks.
I think Monty believes this as well, mate.
I think what you have to do, like when you get to like obviously like been doing like the weights since I was probably about 12 years old. So I think that stage, like everything then is like maintenance, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like keeping like size or whatever. It's just like once you've got it, it's just maintenance then.
Yeah.
So it's not as hard. So like if it say like you guys, like you're out in the gym starting off, you got to get to that level, I guess. And then it's like, you know, like maintenance, isn't it? You know, even look at, you know, Schwarzenegger, you know, he still probably looks good now.
Yeah.
But he won't obviously do half the stuff he was doing before, like 5-6 hours a day. But it's just maintenance, and then, you know, you still look good, I guess. I think that also, like, I do believe, like, you know, like I've always wanted like massive traps and that, like some of the guys, and then like when I was like powerlifting, but I couldn't get them, and for some reason I just ended up with arms, big arms, if you know what I mean. And I don't know why. It's like bizarre. Some people get like massive chests or backs, you know, like some of like my mates, you know what I mean, who do like sprint canoe, got like massive like bat wings, like big backs, but their arms aren't like massive because there's not really a need for it sometimes. But they, you know, so like I'm jealous of other people that what they've got, and they sort of jealous of, you know, what I've got, I suppose. But the thing is, though, having big arms, it's more noticeable. You know, you've got a T-shirt on.
Yes. Yeah.
No one notices your traps or your big back, do they? Or your legs.
No, mate.
It's the arms everyone looks at. First comment is your arms all the time.
Yeah, I bet you get it all the time as well. It's like when I used to go to the gym all the time. It's like I could be in a gym. I could be there for 7 days a week for 5 years, and my arms would probably grow a really small amount, but then my chest would be a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Or like my lats would be bigger, but my arms are like a nightmare. And I tried everything, apart from steroids, of course.
Yes, yeah, I don't want to try that.
Nah. But no, it's mad. It's mad. People's bodies are just all different. It's dead weird. Monty,
yeah, it's just the way it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Monty. Your arms. Yeah. If you went, if you went at the gym at Port Vale. Yeah. Who's the biggest in your club? Like, you know.
Biggest in terms of physicality, I would say Leggy.
Yeah.
Then you've got Smudger, who's just a machine. You can lift. He just does madness. And
it's mad.
We've got like a strong squad. Like when you talk about physicality, like everyone's quite strong in their own ways, but there's like round physicality. I would say Leggy and Smudger.
Yeah.
But then you've got other players that are just ripped and big, and they will lift like hardly next to anything, but they just naturally strong.
All right, let's go this way. That you know Adama Traore at Wolves.
Yeah.
Ian, do you know Adama Traore?
No, I don't actually know.
Well,
who's Wolves anyway?
Oh dear me. Oh my God! Let's stop recording right now.
The only thing I remember of Wolves, I was many years ago when Stoke was at the old ground, and I was sponsored by JJ Securities in Stafford, and they did their security, the stewarding for Stoke and Vale. And I used to go between the games, you know, like every other Saturday, used to be a Stoke or Vale. And what I remember the Wolves fans is like they caused this, like, I don't know if you remember the old Stoke ground where they had the away supporters obviously standing, and then like the gates that used to sort of open, crush gates.
Yeah.
I think they might have been yellow, and there's like a wall behind the goal. And I remember like the Wolves goalkeeper, I think it's short, I swear it's Wolves, always used to, like the last game, whatever, chuck his goalie gloves in the crowd behind him. And everyone came forward, crushed forward, and there's people like, obviously, like, you know, there's kids there, and kids' lips were going blue, you know what I mean? People were like dying and trying to get them out, and as stewards, we were being punched, and first aid were, and that's the only thing I can remember Wolves fans.
It's a great memory.
Never any other fans, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my memory of Wolves.
I'm going to try something to you. See if this works. Right, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
That's Adama Traore.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, big lad, yeah.
He's a big boy. And according to him, he doesn't do any weights.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how you get that. How you get
I
that
don't think they don't do weights, but someone was telling me, like, you know, like if you want specifically trying to get like a six pack or good abs or something,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to focus on doing your abs, because other exercises involved help you get them abs, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. And also, like, you know what I mean, sort of being a black guy, they are naturally sort of like great physiques, I think, personally. You know what I mean? It just comes natural to them.
Summit in the
You know,
science.
a lot of lads that, yeah, it is. It's like, you know, it's just something the genetics of it, and they're just like naturally. Like, if you see, like, you know, even like if you're a marathon long distance runner, you know, obviously not massive, but they've still got really toned and,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But obviously, like, you know, the white guys and that, I think we have to sort of work a lot harder to get that naturally. We're just not that way inclined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like muscle bulk and that.
Where would you leave me then? Like, cause I work hard.
Yeah, but I tell you, you could.
I work hard. I'm black, but I ain't got that physique.
I reckon you could do, though. I can see it in you. Seriously, honestly, you could get. I get you. What you would be? You'd be like really toned up. You know what I mean? Like really sort of ripped.
I am home.
You would be. I guarantee it. Yeah, seriously. Now take your partner there, and he took his top off. That would just be a
nightmare.
You know, like some sunglasses moment. You know what I mean? Glare and everything.
Yeah.
And you'll see that you can tell, like, yeah, he's definitely English on the beach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's definitely pure English.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Yeah. Top off on that beach, be your belly out, kind of stellar in the
That's
hands.
what I mean, yeah.
What, lads?
That's the difference. That's the difference, you see. That's one thing I've seen on my travels around the world. You know what I mean? I know, like, we go off a bit now. It's like when I was like hand cycling, like racing for a team based in the Czech Republic. I remember going to Prague Airport, and it literally had two check-in desks at Prague Airport, because it was like many years ago, before it was like an EU country or anything like that. And then Radovan, the manager, used to come and pick me up. And then I went with our sort of canoeing lot quite a while ago, and then see Prague Airport again, and then all these people that have got like these stupid T-shirts on that say all sorts of shit, you know, on those stag boots and that. I'm looking around thinking, there was like, you know what I mean, originally, because I've seen how Prague's gone through the years. We've been based there, and it's just an embarrassment now, because you can just see the English lads, they're on the plane, pissed out of the face. Yeah. And then there was a time, like, when I was like hand cycling, coming back on before sort of finished that, I even put a different top on, because I had my like GB kit on, and I just took that off, and I was sitting down waiting on my own, and just put a different top on. I thought, I'm not being associated with these dickers, because it was so embarrassing, because over there it's just a different culture, because my wife's from Slovakia originally, and it's just they're just not like us. They're just not dickheads. They enjoy the drink, like the Czech boys. For example, I came over a race one time. I finished a race with the Czech boys. You know, the first thing that was handed to me,
go on then,
was a pint of beer.
No
as
way.
a recovery. That's what they use to recover, because of the yeast and everything in it. Yeah, the ales. They use that as a recovery drink, where normally here I get handed a shake, a protein shake.
Yeah. What do you think's better?
Drink the beer.
What do you think better?
I couldn't drink the beer, because like after doing like that many hours on the bike, and it was like 30 odd degrees, I didn't really want the beer. More like be sick than anything else.
Must be something in the science.
So they don't go out, like, you know what I mean? And when we're out like drinking with them lot, they're like mad drinking, because that's what they do. They got like, there's like different like little breweries everywhere, you know what I mean, in every sort of town and that, where they do their own beer, and it's like famous for it. In fact, on the prizes, often my prizes were crates of beer that I couldn't obviously get back on the plane, but that was my prizes, you know what I mean? Like
crates of beer.
Yeah, I know, a joy for you, I suppose, you know what I mean? But they don't. It's a different mentality, though, isn't it? You know, they're not getting out, getting smashed and smashing places up, pissing everywhere, being sick.
Yeah.
Where our idiots over here, that's what they do. You know what I mean? So you can still drink a lot and have fun, like I've seen, but you don't have to be a dickhead about it.
What do you reckon that's down to, like the culture, or?
Yeah, it's got
Yeah, it is, because like in this country, like we see, like even in this lockdown, you know, the way the government's been, even though the government's pretty shit about handling everything, and the reason they're shit about handling everything is because they don't want to upset anyone. You know, as soon as they mention about locking down, we're going to do this, everyone in this country says, oh, I'm not fucking doing that. Do what I fucking want. And that's the attitude we've got. In Europe, everyone locks down. They do as they're told, because that's what they're used to. I think one thing they're used to that is because a lot of countries come from like communist backgrounds,
yeah,
you know, and to be honest, if they didn't do that, they'd get shot pretty much, you know, from the old days. And we haven't got that, have we? You know, in our history, we haven't got like a communist regime, and we haven't got them sort of streets out there. But it's like my wife, before she was my wife, I'd been out to her place in Slovakia years and years ago, and I was on the phone to her, and it was nighttime there, dark, and she was telling me where she was. I'm thinking, you can't walk there because it's literally middle of nowhere. There's no light in no street, so you know what I mean, nothing at all, pitch black, can't even see your hand. I'd say it's not safe out there. You get attacked, but they don't get attacked. There's no rapes out there. There's no attacks. You can walk the streets late at night, pitch black, and you're perfectly safe, because it's not there. It's not the way they do it. And if someone was to do something out there, the whole sort of town or village knows about it. You know, like you go to church on the Sunday, and then everyone's gossiping. You know, they know someone's done something, and then that person's like ousted.
yeah,
They're
frozen out, aren't they?
Yeah, like it used to be, like, you know, years ago here. I remember, like, I brought up in the little village, and that's how it would be done. You know, you wouldn't do anything wrong. If you had done something wrong, the village knew about anything that I'd done wrong at school. You know, everyone knew about it. You know, and you're scared shitless then. You know, but these days the kids stick their fingers up to you. They don't care anymore.
What about Colombia, Monty?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's like similarity with when I've had the conversation. Obviously, we know how the programs and what's happening at past, how the image they've given Colombia, which is where I'm from. But me being from Colombia, and even my missus, who has actually lived in Colombia with me, it's not what it seems, because I find, say, like London more dangerous than Colombia.
Yeah.
My own opinion. I could like similar to is it Slovakia? Where is it that you from?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's similar to that, where you can walk the street, you can do what you want, as long as you don't mess about.
Yeah, so long as you don't put a foot out of line, you're safe.
As long as you don't, that's what it's like. As long as you walk in your own lane, mind your own business, don't step out of line, it's okay. They respect people, they are welcoming. But as soon as you step a foot out of line, then that's when it gets real messy. And I mean, fucking messy.
What, like,
I can imagine it,
like bang, 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 messy.
It's not even like, let's get. It's just how it is, isn't it? And it's nothing that I sort of like live by, and I think is the right way. But I still stand by, I would say, the UK and all how gangs and things they do, I find it more dangerous than, I feel like if I live in London, my life is more at risk than being in Colombia.
Wow.
That's my honest opinion. Because me growing up in London and having to walk different ways home because of gangs, or if there's a group of lads there and like in the corner, they're potentially going to be starting on me because I'm not from this area, and I'm having to walk through this area to get home or to go to school. I'm having to divert so I didn't get picked up on or get put in trouble, or think, once I get to that corner, I'm gonna sprint the next 5 minutes because I'm in the wrong area and I shouldn't be around here, but I've got to come this way because I've got to go to school. And Colombia's not like that. It's more, if you need to get from A to B, you can get from A to B without worrying, as long as you're minding your own business. long as you're not walking past a group of people or an individual and looking at them up and down, they don't like things like, they don't like belittling people. They don't like you disrespecting anyone. They don't like you thinking you're bigger than someone. That's how it is. And I think that's how, well, Bid, you know what I'm like anyway. I think everyone the same. Like they think, we believe that we're human beings. And that's why I come from. The place where I grew up in Colombia is we're human beings and we all deserve respect. No matter how much money you have, what you don't have, how you live, where you live, we all deserve respect. That's how I've been brought up.
Yeah, I know. Yes, yeah. That's how it used to be. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up as a kid, you know, you'd obviously like you'd have like even in the village where I was, that you know, like a local police officer who lived there. You know, so you have that respect for adults and stuff like that. But these days you can't, because you can't do anything to the kids anymore. You know, the police can't do anything to them, the parents can't do anything to them, the teachers can't. You know, my teacher, you know, I remember like sitting in class and I was talking, you know, I was like a straight down the line kid, you know what I mean? Not clever like that, but as in like I wouldn't do anything wrong, because I'm not that sort of person at all the way I'm brought up. But because I was happened to be talking, smack round the head. I don't know if you remember, like, used to get like wooden rulers, meter long.
Oh yeah,
rulers.
them. Yes.
Yeah, them one. And that snapped round the back of my head in half. That's how hard. And like talking, like I remember, like, and then like the same teacher, he was a history teacher, nice sort of nice guy, I suppose. You know what I mean? Like, but you sort of respected him. And then lining up outside, normal procedures. You line up outside your class. You go in when you're told to go in. The chairs on the table. You put chairs down. You sit down and you shut up. And that's just the way school was when I was there. There's no uniform. You just wear what you want like this.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it was then. And then like Caroline, one of my friends from the village, she was talking in the line, and he just came up and just smacked her in the stomach so hard, and she just folded in two. You know what I mean? And that's, I'm thinking, fuck, you know, but things are, you didn't think anything like that. You think, oh shit, I better not talk again.
Yeah.
You don't think, shit, you can't do that, you fuck, you know, you can't. Now these days, you can't do that. Obviously, it is a bit extreme, but you know what I mean? I remember like I was taken to the headmaster one time, God knows why, out the porter cabins, like the thing, like, because they had like at middle school, where you used to have middle schools, dragged me down there. I don't even know what I'd done. And then like up some steps, there's about 4 steps up, there's a wall in front, go right into the main school, slam me there, and I went straight into the wall, my head. And like, you know what I mean? I blacked out a bit. He picked me up still, and then back to the headmaster. And when you've been to the fucking headmaster, you get back home, the school's phoned your dad, and me fucking dad smacked me.
Jesus,
you know what I mean? What the fuck have I done?
What was he in school? Was he like getting trained to join the army or something? Like, what?
Mate, honestly, I'll give you a background on my school, because I went to Western Road High School in Stafford. I went to Broadacre Middle School in Hixon at first. That's more like a villagey type school, I guess. But then Western Road High School, originally they were going to shut it down. I think Staff's Uni, before that, the Polytechnic they were called, and they were going to buy it, and they didn't want it, so it was going to be shut down. And it was the nearest school for the villages around there, and it's a brand new building. So I remember, like, what I can remember of it, parents and stuff having meetings and then petitions, and they kept it open. And my sister was a couple of years ahead of me in school there. But man, it was a fucking dangerous school. There was guns, knives. We had teachers from Borstal. I don't know if you remember Borstal, where like naughty kids used to go. A bit like detention centres for kids.
Yeah.
And that's what they used to have. And they used to go there, so they wouldn't go to prison or school or anything. They go to Borstal. And we had 2 teachers from Borstal, Mr. and Mrs. Shaw. Mr. Shaw was like 6'7", a big guy. Remember, like the headmaster was bringing some parents round. You got the doors at school, and then next minute this kid landed in front of them. He'd gone through the doors without touching the floor and landed in front of the headmaster and the kids there. So that's the sort of teachers. That's the sort of teachers we had. And there was like an instant where one of in my sister's year, had gone to a different school in Stafford, got a kid on the playground, knife around his throat after his older brother, because his older brother had done something. So he got the little kid on the playground.
What?
And there was guns in there. Yeah, I was threatened a lot in there. But because I had an older sister, they seemed to have a bit more respect because my sister was in the. Our year was a good year that went through that, but it was the last year that had gone through all that stuff, and the school is obviously proper now. The headmaster was that soft. Everyone, the kids that were naughty used to take them to Milford Common and Stafford on a picnic.
No way.
Yeah, they used to have like picnics if they were naughty and stuff. And then we used to like, a lot of thieving went on because like my teacher, Mr. Jones, what had happened is like the skeleton keys used to get passed down for the years to open storerooms and cupboards and stuff. And then like one of my mates nicked stuff from the stock room to give to the teachers because they weren't allowed to have it and that sort of stuff. And
No way.
and he used to like nick ladders. I think Mr. Jones, my teacher, gave me a set of ladders that he nicked from somewhere outside of in the town or whatever. I don't know. One reason why I sort of became good at sport, ironically, because me and my best mate, when it came to your sports day, I don't know if they do it now, but you used to sort of do it in like sections in the school. So you'd be certain colour or name or something.
Yeah.
And then my class, I say, half of them, you'd be lucky if they turn up anyway, because most of them are sort of on the nicking stuff or whatever they're doing outside there, not turn up at all. And me and me mate Wicks, we'd do all the events together, whether it's shot put, long jump, high jump, sprinting, long distance. Between us, we were the sports team. We just did all of them for the whole class.
Nice. I used to love sports day as a kid. Used to love it. Proper made me happy.
Yeah. I know, because it's like you're not like in class, are you? Sort of,
No.
you know, sitting and writing. The kids these days, they just moan about, you know, like doing PE. And I know, like they still do. You know, like speaking to my son, you know, who's obviously just left, you know, school, and they all moan about, like teachers say, they all moan about doing PE. They don't like it. And I'm thinking, look, what are you moaning? While you're outside running around or whatever, you're inside playing sport. You're not there writing. So what's the problem? I just don't understand the logic of it.
It's just society nowadays and the new generation, where your generation, Beds, mine, we've experienced the best of both worlds, basically, or not even the best of both worlds. Back in the day, we used to have fun with our friends, play outside. We used to rush to get home, drop a bag, or if you had to do homework, do the homework, and then we're outside playing. Now they're getting home to the iPads, the PlayStations, that streaming online and showing people the games they're playing and how good they are.
Yeah.
So that's what they want to do. Like, everything's changed now. And in regards to what you said earlier about our kids, that why they are the way they are is because they basically have the power over us. I think as parents, you need to be given the control of how you bring your kid up.
Yeah.
The best kid, not even to be the best kid, to be the best adult. Because that's where it starts from when the kids, they're the best adults they could be in society. But we've been taking that power away from us, where if you shout at a kid or you're telling him off, or you want to give him a little slap in a bum for certain things, all of a sudden it becomes that if they tell the teachers or whatever, we then get in trouble. So we have to be so careful on how we're bringing our kids up and what language we're using and what words. Before, to me, if I knew I've done something wrong, I had to run out of my house. Make my mum chase me. But when I got caught, I was getting beats.
Yeah.
But it taught me that in a weird way, it taught me respect. It taught me to appreciate my family. It taught me when to stop. It taught me that as soon as my mom said my full name, I knew I was in trouble. Nowadays, you say your kid's full name in anger, or you're about to tell them off, they copy you.
Yeah.
And then they laugh at you, and then what you got to do, you just got to laugh with them, because you can't do anything.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's not like you can, so not like
you can't do nothing.
The only thing I do like to my middle son is like, if he's not cheeky like that. Luckily, I've got really good kids, you know what I mean, and they're brought up really well.
Yeah.
You know, even all the teachers say, you know, how nice they are, and even the parents, you know, like when he goes racing, say, well, you know, can you swap kids? You have my kid and I'll have yours. But like, even when like he doesn't do something he wants, because I'm like, I suppose I've been brought up sort of fairly strict, like, you know, you say, and I'm probably a bit too strict sometimes. But what I'll do is, like, at the back of the router, I can just disconnect his gaming PC.
Oh
So
yeah.
everyone else can have internet and he can't. So the other day, he wouldn't do something, but he would do it, but he'll do it in his own time because he's doing this. I'm thinking, mate, I need it done now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm stuck. I need it done now. And I'm like, because I can't get upstairs. I'm in like a dormer bungalow, so I have to phone or text him. So obviously they just ignore you.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just said, I just pulled the internet out and went back in there, the dining room, and says he'll be down in a minute. Because what I do, it was halfway through a streaming game, and obviously he's got no internet.
Oh,
So he's got no choice.
Great.
I say, you've got no internet. I said, ours is working, mate, down here. I won't stop with yours. That's my power. Or like in the gym here, where if he wants to use this, when we were like disagreements because he's not put something back, or the chain's up there, because I keep saying I'm in a wheelchair. You know, if you don't be realised, you know what I mean, you're 16 years of your life. I can't stand up, and I can't actually reach that you put up there every time you go in here. So what I do is I just take the keys to Nottingham with me, and you can't use it.
Oh, nice.
All five sets of keys with Nottingham with me.
Nice.
And his phone is there. Do you know where the key is? Yeah, well, yeah, mate, you can't use it, Jim. Hard luck.
Hey, it should teach him, though. Should teach him.
No, yeah, because it does. Because yeah, that's what you do. You know, you don't obviously I don't want to shout at him. He's pointing to shouting. He doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
But if I can just take something away that he needs to do because he's got a coach, and then he has to justify on his coaching plan why he's done or not done something. And if he's not done that, I just say, Chris, mate, he's just been pissing me off.
Yeah.
He's not training. Simple as that. And then his coach will speak to him. Then I say, can you have a word? You know, because like they listen to someone else, and because he's so obviously he's a good athlete and he wants to, you know, do well, which he is doing well. So he'll listen to his coach, which I know he'll listen to his coach, who I know his coach obviously very well. So Chris will speak to him instead.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't get through to him, and that's the best way then to. My daughter's different, like, because she's a girl. I think girls are a lot harder to handle with teenagers.
Oh God, yeah.
And my wife can sort that one out because that's just a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
She's like I've noticed, like with lads, they can be cheeky, but you can sort them out. It's same with your mates. You know, if you have a disagreement, there might be a punch up, but everything's forgotten straight away, isn't it?
Yeah.
But obviously with the girls, they have an argument, and it's like this on the phones, on Snapchat. Me here, about watching stuff. It goes on and on. I think, can't you go and just leave it?
Yeah. Fucking, just way too much fucking drama, mate. Way too much drama.
Lads just like a bit of swearing and punch each other. Job done.
So I come in from work. I'd come in from work, and like the girls would be on the phone speaking to the friends from school. Have you heard what she said today? I laugh out. Shut the fuck up. It's just why? Too much drama. Switch the phone off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pisses me off, Monty. Pisses me off, Monty.
Lads a lot easier. I think, like, you know, when it comes to sort of like, you know, like the mental health and you know, like image that some girls, you know, obviously try and portray, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in the media and stuff. It does all come from a lot from. I don't think lads are respected as much on the phone, because to be honest, even though I've got teenagers, the eldest is more on his phone because he's just chatting with his mates because that's his communication. But like, say like the 16-year-old is very rare on his phone. That's why I find it hard to get hold of him, because he hasn't got his phone with him, because he's not.
Yeah.
They're not like that, but the girls are just like constantly there all the time, and I think then that's what causes them issues, you know, because, you know, I keep saying to me, if someone's been picked on at school, or, you know, someone doesn't like someone, I say, like, you go and be friends with that person, because you're like a popular person. If you're friends with that person, then everyone will be friends with that person, and everyone can be shit anymore.
Yeah.
So it takes you to go and be friends with that person who no one seems to like. And why the fuck don't you like them? You don't even know them. How about go and chat with them? You know what I mean? And just, you know, sit with them. And then as soon as you do that, then other people will do that.
Yeah.
You know, they may say, what the fuck are you talking to him for or her for? You just say, it doesn't matter, talk to who I want.
Yeah, that happened.
You know what I mean?
That happened to me in high school. I was a popular guy. I really have this like a genre. You know, you had like your skateboarders, your chavvy lads, and you know, your goths and stuff like that. I was just mates with everyone. And there was this guy in my form at high school, really clever guy, like really clever. But people like just picked on him for no reason. And
Because he was clever.
And I said, he's no different to us. Like, he's fucking human. And I said to one man, it's like, you know, why have you just said that to him? Oh, fucking geek any. So anyway, the next day, I walked into my form at form time, and I sat by him. My mate goes, "Well, fuck sitting by him for?" So I'm starting a fuck conversation, like chilling. Anyway, the next day, did it again, sat by him again. I sat by him for the whole year. And then, you know, he didn't get picked on. Because then my mates gradually started coming in. It's like sitting by the table and be like, you know, joining in the conversation. So it's so easy, man. So fucking easy to just do it. Any kids? Yeah. No, any kids that listen to this, or any parents that have this kind of issue at home where someone's getting picked on, tell your kid to go and sit with that kid. See what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens and let me know.
Changes, yeah. They say, like, 'cause I was like, when I was at school, I was like bullied quite a lot.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, until I got to the high school, then I was always told, even by the teachers, that I was shit at sport.
Yeah.
I never get anywhere. Yeah, loads. Because there was a Mr. Woodward, a teacher at middle school. And basically, what I found out in the end is about the people that got picked for the teams, like cricket, rugby, football, etc., all the same lads all the time.
Yeah.
They seemed to be in the top sets for starts. So it seemed to be, if you were good academically, you were picked for the team. And also, what I didn't realise is their parents were on the committee and they were help funding certain stuff. And I realised this because I went to help at school years after that school, and I was a powerlifter then. And I'd gone into a school and staff to help, and that teacher was there.
Yes, get in.
Yeah, I told her, I had a word with him in the, you know, in the office, teacher's office, and that, and then he explained about, you know, how it was. Doesn't matter, exactly. I fucking ruined my life, basically. I ruined any kid's life, saying that you're shit at anything. You know what I mean? And then you're being picked on through school as well. You've got dickheads like that. You know, so if you're in a team, in a sports team, that gives you the respect, doesn't it? You know, even if you are a bit of a dick, you still get respect from people because you're in a sports team, and that's just the way. Even now, I think that's the way it goes, isn't it? You know, that's the way society is. But obviously, they didn't give me an opportunity, and then until I got to high school, and Mr. Ashwood there, Western Road, gave me the opportunity. I think we were probably the first school, just about anywhere, to have like a multi-gym. I begged them to get a multi-gym, and there was a side room onto where the gym was, and they put a multi-gym in there. So that's how I got into sort of the weights and that side of thing.
Nice.
So then me and my best mate were given like a dinner pass, so we could go into dinner early, jump the queue, so we could train every dinner time. You know, and then sometimes I might be found in there when I'm supposed to be in French or something as well, apparently. I can't remember my timetable. You know when you get carried away?
Yeah.
That's all important to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it's given that opportunity just by teachers as well, you know what I mean? It's you know, if I think, like, even in sport now, I say to coaches, you know, I don't know if it probably lands on deaf ears, but especially at the moment, we've got selection coming up for the games, final selection for the athletes next month for the Tokyo Games.
Nice.
So, like, if you've got an athlete that's not doing too well, that's quiet within themselves, and the performance isn't where it should be, why are you focusing on the person that's doing well? And the reason they're focusing on a person that's doing well is because it's an easy fucking win, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you've got the same as school, I said that, explain to people. If you've got someone who's clever at school, teachers focus on them. People that put their hand up all the time do well because it looks good for them. It's an easy target. I've done well. Look at my fucking job.
Yeah.
But that person who's quiet, sat there, not doing anything, that's the person you help out. The person that's not speaking, the person that's not doing well, because that's the person that needs the help. The person that's sticking the hand up doesn't need that help at all.
Yeah. How was it, and did it affect you mentally when you heard those things from this teachers and saying that you was never going to be good at sport and then you were shit at this, shit at that? How did it affect you?
I think at the time, like, when you,
if it did, how?
Yeah. I think when you're a kid, it's not. I don't know. I don't think like especially like them years ago. It's that sort of stuff. There's no mental stuff going on, is there? You know what I mean? It's you're either this or that sort of thing. But I suppose like as a kid, then it didn't really sort of dawn to me until you get when you get older, and then I think that's when people start having issues like mentally or depression and stuff. I think probably when you get older, you realise that shouldn't have happened back then, and that obviously then sets you on a path, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So at the time, it's probably perfectly okay. And then you get your parents that perhaps say, how about getting a proper job? How about doing this? How about doing that? And I always say, like kids, like when I'm doing like talks and that, if you've got a vision, you know what I mean, and your journey, do your vision. Don't do your parents' vision. Don't do your teacher's vision. Don't do your friend's vision. If you want to be like an artist, be an artist. If your dad's a bricklayer, fuck him. You know what I mean? He probably wants you to be a bricklayer.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be a bricklayer because I've done stuff that my parents wanted me to do. In fact, art. And I didn't want to be a fucking artist. You know what I mean? I was good at it, but I didn't want to be an artist. So I'm sitting there, then bored out my head, hated it, and I'm doing stuff that people want me to do instead of doing stuff that I wanted to do. So like when I'm doing sport, that's what I want to do. It doesn't matter about anyone else anymore. You know what I mean? It's what I want to do. And if they don't like it, they can get lost. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's what I want to do, and it's what makes me happy. If it makes me happy, then surely it makes everyone else around me happy, doesn't it? If you go to work every day, a shitty dead-end job that you don't like because you were sort of forced into that job, and you come home a miserable twat every night, that's not going to help anyone, is it?
No, absolutely
you know
not. So when did you start taking powerlifting serious?
That was when I was, say, just before I left high school. And then my first competition, I was training. So I lived like in a little village in Sandham near Stafford. And then I trained in like, we got like a lot, it's like farming land, my family like farming side. And there's like outbuildings. It's like an old meat house it was. And it had like a hooks and a big massive wheel where they used to bring the carcasses up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From centuries before. And I used to set that up as a gym. And then I made my own pulley system with the help of my brother-in-law, and it was proper old school, like Rocky. You see like Rocky 4 when he's training, in the snow and that. Because I was training in the snow because there was tiles missing and stuff, the old building. So in winter, you'd often be getting the snow and stuff off your bench and off your weights and stuff being rusted. I'd have a hat and gloves on training there all the time. Yeah. And when I did entered my first sort of UK Open Championships, and I think one reason I won that is because I didn't realise that the bar that you're lifting with is 20 kilos, the collars are 2.5 each, which makes 25 kilos, and that adds to the weight. Yeah. Me and my brother-in-law were deducting the weight.
Oh, no.
Every time we were training, we were taking 25 kilos off what I was lifting.
Oh, shit.
Obviously, when I got to competition and you're adding 25 kilos, fucking piece piss.
Yeah.
25 kilos stronger. So I won, obviously. So I won fairly easy. And it just went from there, really.
Nice.
So, and they did ask me, like, to, after winning, like, the British and stuff like that, if I want to train at a gym, but I didn't train at a gym for quite a long time. I still sort of stuck in this sort of outhouse. It's just sort of what I knew, really, you know what I mean? It's just the way it was, because, like, gyms, obviously, back then, they're not like they are now. They're like proper basic, like free weights.
Yeah.
Not really any machines and stuff. You got like some cable machines, so basically it's all just like free weights, isn't it? And it's not like it is in commercial gyms now. So it's I think gyms are sort of better back then. I suppose they're like your equivalent to your nightclub where you got the floor that's soaked with beer. You come out with sticky feet and stuff like that, and you think it's a shithole, but you just keep going back.
Yeah. So how old were you on this picture on the left-hand side?
There, I was probably, I think, at 18.
No way.
On that, yeah. I think I was a world champion by sort of 18 or something, 19, 18, I think it was. Yeah.
That's some physique for an 18-year-old, isn't it?
18.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's madness.
And I weigh like my body weight there. I'm not, because I'm only in the 67.5 kilogram class body weight. So I usually weighed in at around 64 to 65 kilos.
Really? Wow.
Monday,
Wow.
yeah. So it's
That's mad. Madness.
yeah, I know. It's say it just shows it can sort of be done. I guess you know what I mean. It's I say like if you're into something, that's where I say like with a job or anything, if you're passionate about something, you do well in it, don't you?
Yeah.
Because it's not like working, like being an athlete. It's not like going to work every day. You don't wake up and think, I can't be arsed doing this,
Yeah.
because you're no longer working anymore. You're doing what you want to do, and that's the way I think life ideally should be, if you sort of do what you want to do. And if you're not doing what you want to do, then get a job that you want to do, get your own business,
Yeah.
do something that you're passionate about and set up yourself. It's not all about money all the time. It's about being asked to get out of bed, to do something.
Yeah.
Like tell my kids as well, it's, you can have these jobs, earning lots of money now, but if you don't want to get out of bed and do the job, what's the point? You want a job where you're just happy to get up every morning and do your job. Like do the sport, you're doing it 6 days a week. You don't moan about it, you just get it done because you enjoy doing it.
Yeah. And you were with the powerlifting side, that's where you got the injury from, wasn't it?
Yeah, I broke my back, yeah.
How?
Well, sort of technically, some of it was lifting and some of it was like incorrect surgery after that.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, yeah. So I ended up sort of in a chair, sort of quite early age, like early 20s.
You did?
So, but yeah, and the NHS has sort of changed a lot then, it's the procedures have changed and stuff like that. And that's the thing you see, I look back then and things were different, but that's what they were. That was the different, if you know what I mean. That's the way things were done.
Yeah.
So it didn't, if you look back now, I'm thinking, well, yeah, you definitely won't be doing that again. But they were done that way then, so you can't really sort of complain, I guess.
Was that
the way life was?
Was that hard mentally for you?
To be honest, like it's not that long ago where it sort of really kicked in that I'm in a chair and that's it, I'm fucked for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. It's you know what I mean, bizarrely, because like I'm constantly like thinking, I suppose, when I was like in a chair, at the time, I suppose I was just getting on with it. I was just finding different stuff, even back in the gym. I even before my surgery and when I've had my surgery, my mates bought me some dumbbells in a bag. And then when you go in the bathroom at night time and do your teeth before your nurse puts you to bed or whatever, I'll be there, curls and stuff.
No
and then
way.
like, you know what I mean, doing like gym jazz. I was still lifting even straight after I had my surgery.
Wow.
Even though you're not supposed to be lifting, because that's just the way it was, you know what I mean? I know,
So
like carry on.
So you never lost that passion then?
No, because it sort of didn't really hit me. I don't think I had parents, or it was like that time of life, you know what I mean, them years ago, that things hit you, because I didn't know anyone in a wheelchair. Parents didn't know anyone in a wheelchair. Remember, like the first day I came back home, which was fairly quick, I was sort of released from hospital too quick, really, without any physio, OT, or anything like that. To say
Wow.
didn't know you needed all that, because I didn't know that's what the rules say. But I was at home in my chair, and obviously I'm in a cottage that's not adapted. My mum put baked bean can on the side and some bread next to the toaster. They go out to work, come back about 5:30, and I'm still sat there in the chair. Thinking, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I
No
can't reach
way.
anything. Yeah. So then it sort of dawns on you and thinking, oh shit, yeah. But like we adapted the room downstairs, but it wasn't a done thing, if you know what I mean. It's more like, come on, just get on with it. Why can't you do that? You almost get that now, you know what I mean, at home, just do it. Or, well, I can do it, you can do it. So I suppose I'm sort of brought up with that, you know what I mean? It's not being in a chair doesn't mean you can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just means you're doing things in a different way, whether it's in the gym, at home, driving the car, or anything you do, you're just sort of doing it in a different way. Even when I've been shopping on my own, like the other day, I had to carry stuff on my knee. So I had to go in the shop 3 times because I've not got enough room on my knee for everything that I bought.
Yeah.
Because I can't push a trolley. And then the staff often say, like, I don't know if you see them trolleys that like hook onto wheelchairs.
Yeah, I've seen them, yeah.
yeah, they're okay for wheelchairs that are being pushed, you know, like the bigger wheelchairs, not like your day chair that's made for you.
Yeah.
They don't go onto my wheelchair. No one's fucking bothered doing about you know, trolley for that. So I can basically have a basket, you know what I mean? And then you should be surprised actually, like before COVID, like many years ago, before when I did most of shopping, I'd have just one basket on my knee, and the amount of stuff I can get in there was fantastic. Often the staff would say, like, you know, like someone's behind you and they queue up because you've got a basket.
Yeah.
That lad won't be long, you've got a basket. And I've got about 40 items in there.
Like a jigsaw.
Yeah, there's about 4 carrier bags, and even the woman on till saying, I don't know how you fit so much in the basket. That's practice, you know.
More world records there, mate.
Yeah, and let's see how much you can get in the basket in a wheelchair. Yeah.
Yes. So with the Olympic side, when did that kick off for you? When was that kind of an idea that you thought of and went for it, or?
That was after I'd sort of done the powerlifting, left that. I got into the hand cycling. So you raced for Great Britain, then raced for a team in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And then ended up in hospital again, broke my neck. And then when I was in hospital, I was like looking at a different sport, and I saw shooting. I remember shooting from Beijing because there's Matt Scallon who got the gold medal.
Yeah.
At his first games. And so I remembered that, and I thought, well, maybe I could do shooting, because they do classes where if you've got no function in your hands or arms,
Yeah.
you need an arm or something, you can still shoot.
Yeah.
So I thought at the time, I don't know, I didn't have any function in my right arm, or I couldn't even hold a toothbrush, couldn't do anything. So I thought if that was the case, then I can still do a sport. So I contacted them while I was still in hospital, and then went for trials when I got out of hospital. I went for trials with all the neck brace, everything on.
No way.
I literally went straight from fucking hospital straight down to London. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this. You know that you're not supposed to drive, obviously, for a long time. I remember having my son in the car and saying, mate, you're going to have to look left and right, because I can't actually physically turn left and right anymore. Because I've got no core muscle anyway, so I can't turn properly.
No
I can't
way.
turn my head. So I had like metal plates and then carbon cage put in my neck, so I couldn't do anything. I literally straight out the next day, and we're driving there, so you're going to have to look for me all the time, because I can't see what I'm doing. I'm still driving, use hand controls. So
yeah.
Probably safe.
You got You got your Luca.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And I got eyes, that's all you need.
Yeah, that's
but
fine,
I needed
mate.
to go down for these trials, you see, to get the trials done. And they kept saying, you sure you're okay to do that? Yeah, I came out of hospital like a few weeks ago. That's just a precaution. That's what I had to say, obviously.
Yes.
But it was, otherwise they wouldn't let you do it otherwise. Then obviously shot for Great Britain for a while, and then ended up, I had a friend who did a bit of hand cycling, and he trained at Trentham Canoe Club.
Yeah.
And he said they're looking like for athletes, obviously like with Rio coming up in 2016, when he was like sort of 2012 area, they're looking for athletes to try and get a team ready towards 2016. So I went to Nottingham, did like land-based stuff, and then got put on the squad and sort of went from there really. So it's not something I think in a lot of disability sport, when I've chatted to people, it's sometimes you don't choose a sport, sport chooses you. Because with disability sport, the way it can work is it works on all classification, depending on your disability. So sometimes we've had athletes that have come to canoeing that aren't classifiable for that sport. So then we help them onto a different sport. You know, you might move them onto basketball or something else that they may not have thought about. So sometimes the sport picks you and you don't pick the sport. Disability sport, I've found, if you see what I mean.
Because you got, was it bronze at the Rio in the KL1? Is that a class?
KL1, yeah. Yeah, we've got KL1, KL2, KL3 for men and women. So KL1 is the most broken. And I say the most broken, but that was actually translated in an article.
Really?
When they were describing what the classes were, because the way it was in foreign. So I'm the most broken.
What the fuck?
And then you get the KL2 that's not as broken, and KL3 that almost able-bodied.
No way. What article is this?
It was in like a magazine somewhere in Europe, I think, and it was like describing, because the classes had changed slightly, because it used to be A, B, and whatever. I think it used to be different, and then it got tightened up and refined and that ready for the games in Rio, because obviously it's got to be quite a tight thing to make sure there's no cheating. And then it went to KL1, KL2, KL3. So your KL1s would be me in a wheelchair, like no ab function, leg function, etc. Your KL2s, they can be in a chair and no leg function, but they've got ab function. Or a lot of KL2s would be like double amputees.
Okay.
And then your KL3s are people with lower issues, or they're single amputees, either above or below knee. So obviously they're the more functional stuff. If I had a choice of disability, it'd be an amputee, to be honest. You've got that to say what disability you want, be an amputee. You know what I mean? And like, because one, you don't have to keep pushing around in a chair. Cause
Yeah.
in the arse, transferring your fucking nightmare it is, to be honest. You know, I'm still not used to it. I suppose. Like, your chair's just in the way. Everything, even in the environment I'm in now, has to be thought about maneuverability of a chair, which is a pain in the arse. Well, if you're an amputee, you know what I mean? You don't have to think that. You just chuck your leg on and walk off, don't you? Job done. And you can have nice legs.
Yeah.
Fancy legs, you can, like, you know what I mean? Like robot legs and stuff like that. My mates have got.
No way.
I can't have a robot type chair. It's just a bloody wheelchair, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got a choice, yeah. Amputee.
The legs that they use for sprinting, what they called? It's like shaped like an arch. It's
they're
the
blades.
Yeah,
the blades they use for the running. Yeah,
they must be
obviously, time sort of moves on. Yeah, I think like if you were, to be honest, like from the guys that I know that are amputees, if you ended up as an amputee, the legs you may get, obviously from the NHS, aren't that great. You know what I mean? The same as the chairs you'd get. You know, it's decent leg. It's not like it used to be. Like my friend's mom years ago, she had like like wooden legs.
Yeah.
You said like, well, you used to know the people with wooden legs because obviously they'd swing the leg as they're walking because there's no bend in the knee.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and obviously that's like years ago you'd have like a wooden leg, but now obviously they've got bends in the knees. But the guys that got some of their legs, basically, I think one of my friends has got like £1 million because he's double amputee, 500 grand each. His legs are that he pays himself. But they're basically futuristic. They're like all the electronics in it. So you know what I mean. So the knees bend, the foot can bend, everything. It's like technology's moved on loads. But unfortunately, you do tend to need money to get that sort of stuff. It's not. I think people like look at you in the street or in the Tesco's or whatever, and you think you got a decent wheelchair and that. Yeah, but you have to buy that yourself, and they're about 3 or 4 grand for a wheelchair. You don't really get given anything for nothing. I know like this, you know, people think disabled people are perhaps living off the state and scrounging and doing whatever shit they're doing, but it's not like that. For example, like my first house, I had to get a lift in there that was 15 grand to convert. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, being disabled costs a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like in fact, my spoke yesterday, my wheels on one of my wheels, I think it snapped a few spokes did for some reason. So I'm going to need some spokes, but it's actually cheap to try and buy wheels if I can.
Really?
I need a new set of wheels now, yeah. So it's I suppose you don't, as able-bodied, you probably don't think about it like, you know, if you get like a pair of shoes that fall to bits, just buy a new pair, don't you?
Yeah.
And to be honest, you don't need a pair of shoes. You can still walk. But now my wheelchair, if that breaks, I can't get anywhere. I can't even get out of bed. I can't go to the toilet. I can't eat. Can't do nothing.
No way.
And that's why people need to sort of be educated that way, I think, you know.
Yeah, it must be you must have had some really challenging days though, mentally.
Yeah, it's I say when it hits you, I think like seeing me kids, like, you know, I've got a hand bike, so I'm, you know, took the kids out on bikes and stuff like that, but it's not the same. I do, if I could, man, I tell you, even if I can just have 10 minutes using my legs, I'd go out and buy the most expensive road bike you could ever buy in the world, even if I've not got the money.
Yeah,
I just get a loan and buy it, just so I can buy it. Because the days I dream, like, say my son's gone out today, like even if it's a wet day, I don't care. I just want to get on my bike with him, a normal bike, and ride out.
Yeah.
You know, so you're just free to just do what you want and not have to piss round a wheelchair. You know what I mean? In and out your hand bike, strap it on the hand bike, then move your chair, and somebody's got to put your chair away because I'm fucking stuck in the bloody hand bike now, so I can't move my chair anywhere.
Yeah.
And that shit, and that's like that really gets you down. You know, just the normal stuff in life like that. I suppose a lot of disabled people probably think, you know, it's not a problem, but back in the mind, it sort of is. You know what I mean? It's not great being in a chair, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's given me this opportunity to obviously go places that I wouldn't have gone before, do sports that I haven't done before, you know, meet people that I haven't done, and, you know, so I've been lucky to do all that. But I'd swap it and have my legs back straight away, just so I can do stuff. I suppose the most frustrating thing for me, like, is being at home, is the DIY stuff. Because I can do that sort of shit, you know what I mean? Because obviously the way I've been brought up, you know, do the stuff yourself. And having to pay someone to come in and do something that I can do, that pisses me off massively.
Yeah.
And then that person does a shit job that I'm paying them for. I'm thinking, are you fucking paying you for a shit job? I can do it myself on a fucking wheelchair. That really just wound me up massively.
Yeah.
And if you want something doing, like, you know, your mate, obviously lockdown's a lot harder, but before that, you want something doing. I want it doing now. I don't want it fucking doing in 2 weeks when you're free. Just fucking come and do it now.
Yeah.
Because that's what gets me the most about anything. You know, but literally about anything. If I want something doing, I can't do it because I'm in a chair. Not because I can't do it, because the chair's in the way means I can't do it.
Yeah.
And that means I have to pay someone or get somebody. And usually, say, like, if you're getting a mate to do it or family, it's oh yeah, can't do it for a couple of weeks.
Oh,
you know, I mean, I
Wow.
want it done now. You know what I mean? You just can't do it now. No, I can't do it now. Oh, fuck off then. I'll pay someone. That's when I usually end up paying someone. To sort of lose my temper and then just think, fuck it, I just pay someone to do it. I don't give a fuck.
That takes the piss, though, don't it? That really takes the piss. I mean, I think people do take things for granted without being like doing it on purpose, kind of thing. We do, and that's why these conversations. That's why these conversations are so important, because it raises that awareness, you know, and it makes people think more about all the small things, like the small things, like you say, like going on your back, and it makes
the stuff that you just want to normally sort of do. You know, obviously, like, my kids have been brought up with me in a chair, so they don't even ask. I think like Charlie, like the 4-year-old, he might have asked a few weeks ago, you know, what I'm in a chair for. I just said I was lazy, so that'll do.
That'll do for now.
That'll just give other disabled people a bad name, then, won't it? Look at that lazy person over there. I can say that. I'm in a wheelchair. So he knows I can't go upstairs. So like, it's like just the small things that people don't realise. Like, the bath is upstairs. I've got a wet room downstairs, and the bath and there's a shower upstairs. I've not given him a bath. You know what I mean? Since he was a baby in the little baby bath.
Yeah.
I can't give him a bath. You know what I mean? And I say that because the wife's the nurse, so she's obviously on nights and that, which she does a lot of, and he wants a bath. I can't do it. You know what I mean? I feel really bad about that. He knows I can't do it. You know, he knows that, you know, he says I can't go upstairs. You know, sometimes I joke and say, I'll give you a bath. And he says, why are you getting upstairs then? I say, my chair will fly upstairs because it's magic. Which he won't. I wish it would.
I bet he believes that, you know.
He would, yeah. I tell you, believe anything when you fall. It's really funny. You can do anything to you literally believe anything. You know what I mean? But so you miss stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even things like just out and about, you know, like, you guys probably don't know, like you know, you got a disabled bay, yeah?
Yeah.
And obviously that's the bane of everyone's life, people parking in there when they shouldn't do, you know, because it happens on a daily basis, you know, even now. But the reason, like, we're not bothered, like, wheelchair people aren't bothered about being at the front of the shop. That is not an issue at all. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's in the furthest corner away. It's them yellow boxes that are next to it.
The size of the
parking space, that side, yeah. Because what people don't realise is, and I think the government should do some sort of campaign, is because I need to get my door fully open so I can get my wheelchair out and my wheels on and in my chair. Otherwise, I can't go shopping. I can't get out of my house.
Yeah.
There's been times I had to go to Stafford, like, years ago. I went round, I couldn't find anywhere to park, and I had to come back home again. And my wife says, do you get the stuff? No, I couldn't get out of my car.
No way.
Parking. Yeah. And also that able people don't know. I'm sure, like, would you moan about this, right? Say, look at Tesco's car park. Say it's got, say, 20 disabled spaces and about 600 able-bodied, yeah? What if that was the other way around? 600 disabled and 20 able-bodied. Would you complain?
Well, yeah, there'd be nowhere to park, would there?
Yeah. Well, that's what fucking happens to me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Everyone else in a wheelchair. Yeah, that's what happens to us. You have a look at car parks and see how many disabled spaces there's. Fuck all. There's some car parks I've been to. Some car parks I've been to in this city where there's two disabled spaces, which are always full. I can't fucking go there because I can't take the chance parking in a normal space because I can't get back. I've got back before, and I've not got in my car. But what I normally do is I don't always use disabled space. What sometimes I might just do is try and park on an end space, so I can get my door open.
Yeah.
If it, and that's the other option that I've got.
Or
And there's times where.
Oh, why don't you use 2 bays? Just park right down the middle of them.
You can't. You get a ticket.
But what if you put your badge out?
You get a ticket.
Still,
They don't care. Even if your wheels over onto the yellow boxes, you'll park incorrectly. You'll get a ticket.
Oh,
if you put
Say
like you've driven around the car park and the spaces for yourself have been taken. Surely, if I see 2 spaces, I'm parking right in between both of them, put my badge out, and I'll write a note on the window saying, I came here at this time and this car was parked there without a badge.
No, they don't care. I've even had a badge. I've had 2 tickets which have been sort of scrapped straight away, even though I've been parked in a disabled bay or on WL lines, which I'm allowed 3 hours for.
yeah.
And I was given a ticket for that. And that was like a few years ago. Because what I found is like, even sort of now, but a lot more when I was younger, I pull up on a disabled bay and people just stare at me because they're thinking, why is that fucking young person parking there for? And the amount of stares I get, even now, if I park a disabled bay, you get people staring at you sometimes. In the car next to you, they don't need it. They got no fucking wheelchair, and then you can tell that I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with them, but maybe they don't need that space because of the door whips. You know what I mean? That's the only reason I don't use a space because and get the door open. But you can tell people that feel guilty is because when I get my chair out, they open the door and say, "Oh, can you help you? Can I help you?" No, you fuck off. I don't say that, but that's all right. I don't want because I've got a process of doing the chair myself. It's a lot easier than somebody else trying to put it together. But that person then's got guilt going on them because they've got out their car to try and come and help you because they shouldn't be parked there.
That's mad. That's mad because I've seen people parking disabled bays and get out of the car perfectly fine, walking perfectly fine. And I'm thinking to myself, how have they got a disabled badge when they can get out of the car perfectly fine, lock the car perfectly fine, and walk to the shop perfectly fine? I don't understand what the qualifications are if that's the word for it.
There's I never sort of confront anyone because like some people, like elderly people, they'll get a badge if they're like on a war pension or anything like that. They can also sometimes automatically get a blue badge. If you're elderly, why not? You know what I mean? Because the legs aren't that. You know what I mean? You've done yours, haven't you?
Yeah.
As a person working and that, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because they may need to be closer. They don't need the width, obviously. They just need to. Maybe we need different sort of spaces. You know what I mean? Where people can park close to the shop because they need to, or people can park in the space where they need to get out. No fucking moans about a mother and baby space, do they? The same sort of space that they have. Yeah. And that's a good idea, isn't it? Yeah. No one moans about them getting the fucking push chair out, the kids out of the car, because they need the distance, don't they, to open the doors or the back door.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I need in a wheelchair. And people fucking have a go at me about it because I'm in a wheelchair sometimes. They moan, you know what I mean? Because you're parking there.
Yeah.
And there was a van, I think last week, parked at Tesco's, just your typical workman van. And obviously I know clearly you don't need a blue badge for that. You know what I mean? Because if you're on a wheelchair on a building site, there's probably something wrong. It's probably not a job for you, is it?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So he didn't need that, but he parked up there because it's right outside the door. And that just fucking. And the worst thing is that if I wasn't in a chair, I'd fucking lamp him. You know what I mean?
Yes, mate. Do it.
I'm getting my fucking head and fucking against the fucking steering wheel and I fucking smash little backwards.
Yeah.
If I wasn't in a wheelchair. Or more the fact that if I wasn't an athlete and I'm sort of obviously I'd lose my fun and everything else.
Yeah.
But maybe when I'm not an athlete, I might go around smashing people in the face.
Yeah, do it.
You know what I mean? It pissed me off.
You
know what I mean?
Pardon? I'm just agreeing here. I think it's a great idea. The disabled bay bounty hunter. Do it.
I think what it needs though, it needs whoever owns that place. If it was Tesco's, Sainsbury's, anyone, they need their people who work there to monitor it. You know what I mean? You do complain, you know, and I have had friends that have actually, and someone just randomly, you know, come up to me one time and said, you know, I'm going to complain about this because they, you know, they're in a chair and they've become part there. They complained, and Tesco's will just say something like, "Oh yeah, we try our best." You do fuck all about trying your best. You go around them bays. There's not many of them. You just literally just got to walk up one side and walk down the other side. That's all the bays there is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a straight line, and just need to look in that window and also check the badges for that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not used illegally.
Yeah.
You know, so, or check it's in date, and that's all they need to do. But they don't do any of that because they don't care.
That would be
You know what I mean?
that would be a good idea if you like separated it, so you had like you bollarded it off, and then you had like an electric barrier, and you had like a barcode or some kind of scanning where you could scan it, and then the barrier'd open. But I don't know if that'd work, because if someone's like severely disabled, they can still drive, but they can't quite reach. So I don't know. There's lots of things.
Well, what they need is like, I think if the government just sort of changed the way they do it. So if they actually explain to people, like just like who run a campaign, posters, bit of TV, radio, whatever, and explain why them yellow boxes are there so people can get their wheelchairs out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've even had people, even at Nottingham, because we obviously, because we're all para athletes, we massively kick off. It happens at Nottingham.
Yeah.
Massively. You know what I mean? There is no hold board there. We do what we want there. And there's people that have parked like on the yellow boxes, and then you can't use that space because you can't get your car in because you can't open the door. And that's you know, sometimes that happens. But you know, if they ran some sort of campaign to actually tell people, see, people, if you ask anyone, think you need that space near the front because you're disabled or you're lazy, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
And it's not why we want it there. We just want it because it's got them boxes. You know what I mean? And we just need to be able to get the doors open wide enough. And if they explain it like the mother and baby, you know, like, you know, most people, you know, a lot of people have had kids, haven't they? You know what I mean? Or know someone who's got kids. You may not know someone who's disabled in a wheelchair, but you definitely know someone who's got kids. Yeah. The fact that the struggle they've got, like, you know, ourselves as well, getting a child or child seat out of the back seat, if you're trying to cram between the next car next year, it's very difficult to do. So that's why they had the mother and baby spaces now, I say, which no one complains about, and there seems to be many of. But when it comes to disabled ones, you know, everyone sort of, you know, complains about it for whatever reason, I suppose. I think a lot of it, you know, a lot of disabilities are, you know, hidden disabilities. You don't have to have a physical disability to need one of them spaces. So I reckon the public look at people and see them walking and think they're just lazy gits or whatever, or they're breaking the rules, which they may not be. But then that's when we perhaps either need more spaces, or we need to allocate spaces for, this isn't a disabled space, this is a wheelchair bay, you know?
Yeah.
So you put it down as a sign, wheelchair bay. So you park there if you got a wheelchair, and then you got a disabled bay. You park there if you got a disability and you don't need a wheelchair. Yeah. That'd be a better way then. Then everyone's parking in the right place.
Similar to what you have like on the trains and the buses, basically. Like when you get on a train, you'll have your little, obviously where everyone sits, and then on somewhere and the carriages, they'll have a big little like space for either like parents and wheelchairs. Yeah. And it's blatantly there, like parents and then wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And then you get a ticket, people that come through. If someone sat there, sorry, you can't sit there.
Yeah, you know?
And I think that's what it should be like. Like it. First of all, I'm gonna say like a massive well done to yourself. Like you're a credit to yourself, and you should be so proud of what you have achieved. Like obstacle after obstacle, you've overcame them, rode every challenge. Nothing stopped you to get to the position that you're in now, to be the man you are. And you're a perfect figure and example for your kids and for many people out there, that no matter what you go through, you can overcome anything if you've got the right mindset, right attitude, and you've got the right vision. And second of all, I just want to say that this episode and what you've said would actually help. It's helped me listen to your story and the struggles you have had, even just parking. I'm sure if Biz can take some of this, and I'm sure the listeners, the viewers can take a lot from this. And for those listening, watching this, understand that this difficulty that individuals who are less able to do things struggle with on a day-to-day basis. So have a bit of sense, think about before you act.
Yeah.
Just if you go somewhere and you see there's only one parking space and it's got disabled back on the floor or on the side, wherever you see it, just don't park there. Need it. Just don't park there. Just drive around. If you go park on the side of the road, if you go somewhere else, just do it, man. Because like listen to your story. Obviously, it's inspiring, but then listen to the difficulties that you go through to just find a parking spaces. It's heartbreaking.
It's like say like you'll get some people that literally park there for cash point, and what they don't realise is that vehicle's there then, even though they're only a couple of minutes. But then someone like me is driving around thinking, can't find a space. Then I'm gone. Even though they're only there for I've had it before. People say, I'm only using the cash point, mate. Yeah, but I need to park.
I don't ramp with that, man. That's actually wound me up.
Yeah, it does. It just things though. It's because if you're the disabled things that I just when you're the sort of person in the chair, like you can't. It's hard to sort of retaliate, like like verbally or even physically, because obviously I can't get away. But I'd love to battle them, you know what I mean? but I wouldn't be able to, sort of, I can't. The only way I've sort of, no, I say I've done it before. I've sort of maybe done it, but I don't know. But where you just get someone just to come down to your level, and then you punch them.
Oh yeah, boy.
That's what I've done that before, where it says, "Oh, mate, you're gonna come down here. I couldn't hear you," and then like that.
Nice.
So because originally I couldn't reach him because he was too far up. But I was just fucking, I'm taking this. Because the things that people, they think people in wheelchairs won't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm some sort of fucking useless piece of shit or something, you know what I mean? Because I'm in a wheelchair. So I'm not going to punch you because you called me whatever. Because I'm going to punch you. You fucking try and fucking hold me down. You know what I mean? It'll take a lot of men to fucking hold me down, get me off you, and fucking kill you. You know what I mean? I've been through enough shit in my life. I don't care.
Yeah, that's it, Ennis. That's it. So it must.
That's up, man.
Yeah, it must piss a lot of people off. I mean, it pisses me off just seeing people parking in bays. So for people that need them, stop fucking parking in them.
I think that's one thing I'm start doing. Obviously, before, like you said, I've never met or known or spoken to anyone that has been less able to do things, apart from when I took my kid to that school. Remember, Bids?
Yeah.
But I've never been told or heard a story like yours before, and the struggle you go through. And I think from now on, when I'm driving somewhere and I see someone parking one of them bays, I'm gonna question them. Are you okay? Even if I can't see anything like visibly, like on the body that suggests they are disabled and they deserve to park there, I'm gonna ask if they're okay, or is it mentally or whatever has given them the reason to park on that space. If they give me a fair enough of an excuse or a reason, then I can carry on with my day. Yeah. It's about trying to be the difference, trying to help awareness and make these people understand that man, they can't just get away with things like that.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just like the education side of thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? So like, they just need to know why you're using that space, so you can get the door open, get your wheelchair out, so I can be independent. What I don't want to be is somebody with me sitting in the passenger seat and then getting me chair out the boot. And sometimes you can, if it's a squeeze, sometimes you can get a chair just out, in between two vehicles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But actually, to do it myself, I need the door fully open. And obviously sometimes, the next car may get a scratch right down the side of it. fucking hell, my chair just scratched it. No, man, not a lot I can do about that, mate. You know what I mean? Because my brakes stick out. They're actually metal points, and they stick out that much from the side of the wheel. If I happen to go down there, it's like a tin opener. So sorry, mate, not a space here. You know what I mean? Because I have like it even happens taking like it's fucking another thing that you might like my little boy starts school at like 10 to 9 in the morning, for example, and we're only less than probably about a 4 or 5 minutes drive to the school. So my wife will probably leave maybe 22:09 to get there. So I was kept saying, "What are you leaving so late for?" Because when I'm getting Charlie up, so I'll be like on the school run shift, but she'll be on nights over the next couple of nights. And basically, I have to park up so I know I can get my door open about 25 minutes before school even starts.
Wow.
So Charlie has to be out of the house quicker when he's with me because I'm not going to be able to park a while because I have to find somewhere to park. And then when I did park, then I could do this, right? I could do this. I could be an inconsiderate little shit, park on the pavements, block everything, block all the drop curbs everywhere, which these fucking parents have done outside the school every day, all the time. And then I have to go on the road to get round with Charlie with me, a 4-year-old. I'll put him on my knee then, onto the main road, then trying to find the drop curb to get back onto the pavement on a busy road.
Wow.
Because I could have parked there, couldn't I?
Yes, mate.
I could put my badge up or park there and say, fuck, I'm in a wheelchair, look at me. But I don't. I go somewhere. I actually park somewhere quite a distance away because I know it doesn't have an effect on anyone else. And I know that I can get in and out of my car safely. Yeah. It's not going to be a problem for me or Charlie. And then he's fucking, I had to fucking sort of stare. So, well, I know I shouldn't have sworn in front of Charlie, but I had to swear at this person. So I couldn't get past the car because they just blocked everything. And they're just sitting there, you know what I mean? Just, the fuck are you parking there for? You're not supposed to park on pavements blocking them. Not just for me, just for, you got kids going to school that now they're going, obviously walk onto the road.
Yeah.
You got push chairs. Obviously being a primary school, there's a lot of push chairs around. You know, it's just fucking all the time. It just pisses me off. I see it, obviously being in a wheelchair, I see it all the time, and obviously where you guys wouldn't. You know, so for me, it's like an everyday event. Then it becomes an everyday event for Charlie. And then my life has to run earlier every day because I always worry about parking. Yeah. Even if I'm taking to, like my son to a race, we get there usually 2-3 hours before the race because I'm worried about my parking. Yeah. Get all that. If I've driven like 2.5 hours to get somewhere to take him to race, and then I can't park, then I obviously feel bad about it. You know, because what I might have to do then, I've done previous. I dump him out of the car. He takes all his kit out, bike, everything, and I have to drive around for God knows how long, trying to find somewhere to park while he goes and trying to get ready to race. So I'm somewhere in a different part of the country trying to drive around because I can't park anywhere.
So that creates a lot of anxiety, doesn't it, for you?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, that's when you start to feel sort of bad about yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's when your disability then becomes an issue. You know, because I know, like my family, you know what I mean? They can't do the stuff that other families do or want to do. Yeah. And, you know, because I'm in a wheelchair. And to be honest, there's sometimes when I haven't gone places with them because I'm in a wheelchair. So they've gone out to walks, especially obviously in lockdown recently, and walks where it's going to be sort of muddy rubbles and stuff like that. And I can't remember, quite recently went somewhere and they went with Charlie and my daughter, and my wife took them and says, "Oh, I'll come." I said, "Oh, I don't think you'll be able to get around." Then I'm trying to justify myself. No, I'll put my off-road sort of tires and stuff on. I'll be able to get, yeah, but you might not to. What if you can't? Then because it happened once before to me. I couldn't. I talked myself into going with them. And I got out of the car. I must have gone about 150 yards and turned around and thought, shit, I can't go anywhere else. I'm literally gone, I can't push anymore. Yeah. So I had to sit in the car for a couple of hours. So then we all feel bad. So I might have got around the place, but then in my head, I'm thinking, I stayed at home on my own then, because I can't go out because I might inconvenience them. Yeah. Then obviously we get somewhere, then I have to sit in the car waiting for them. Then I'm pissed off. They're rushing round because then they think they've got to rush to get back to me. And then we just have a shit evening then because of my fault. Because if it wasn't for my disability, they wouldn't be in that position in the first place.
It must be, I'd say it must be quite difficult to kind of process Actually, it's not your fault, really, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, it's not, but it sort of is, because I don't have to sort of be married to someone or have kids. Because I just sort of thought, fuck it.
Yeah,
What, you know,
yeah.
why put that on someone else's life? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
but you're not putting it. You're not putting anything on. That's obviously when we go back to what we do in regards of obviously the mental health and the talks that we have with individuals. Things like what you're saying there, putting so much pressure on your shoulders and blaming the position that you're in for whatever your family are not able to do as a collective group. It's sort of you're just, and then that's when it then becomes a problem in your head, because you start overthinking things. You start
yeah,
blaming yourself for things that you actually can't control. And what you've been through has been a hell of a journey, and you've actually got to give yourself some credit, and you should be proud of yourself to be in a position that you're in and to have done the things that you have done and achieved. That it happens. Like we've said it before, life happens. Obviously, unfortunately, you have had to deal with the things that you've had to deal with, but it have actually made you the person you are now, and it's given you the opportunities to do the things that you have done in sport. So things happen for a reason. Some things happen that we don't want them to happen to us, but it happens for whatever reason. We are sometimes more unlucky than others. Like I've been through things that I don't think other people would survive the things I've been through. What are you being through? I don't think I would have survived that. What a Bid's been through, I don't think you probably would have survived it in.
yeah,
So
yeah.
each and one of us are dealt with different cards. And the reason I believe those cards have been dealt to us is because we can survive those things. And you should be proud of yourself, and don't feel guilty for not having to not being able to do things with your family. It is part of, like, your family should understand it. Like no two ways about it. And if they're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
if they're
they
still
do.
if they're still there with you and still on the road with you, like your wife and obviously I know the kids and that, then you should be happy and not overthink it. They're there for you, not there because of what happened to you. Because either way, if someone don't want to be someone, for example, they'll just leave. They're there because of you, not because of what happened to you. You get what I'm saying? So you should
Yeah,
be
yeah,
proud. And man, don't overthink. Obviously, you can't say don't overthink it, because you are going to overthink it. It happens.
yeah.
But try and watch what you say to yourself. Try and watch how you speak to yourself when you're overthinking these things, because it's part of life. Obviously, it's happened already. You've dealt with what happened to you amazingly. Like, you're a hero, mate. Like, you should be so happy and proud of yourself. So keep riding the storms, man, and keep growing with what's in front of you. You should be so proud, man.
I got Sports Personality of the Year, didn't you,
Yeah,
bro? 2016.
yeah. That was a nice surprise.
But that was a big
Yeah,
moment.
so
It wasn't a surprise, mate. You've earned it.
yeah. I suppose
You
so.
deserved
It's
it.
still sort of like, obviously, like I say, you put pressure on yourself. You know what I mean? Because there's stuff you can't, like, even like just family holidays. We've had very few of them. You know, even at like the age of some of the kids, we've probably been away 3 times, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a pain in the arse going away in a wheelchair. Because obviously, like, for me, it's like, it's so annoying. Because, like, say you guys perhaps could, like, you know, like, get a late deal. You know, like, say you got the next 2 weeks off, you can just sort of look around, get a late deal, go off on holiday. But when in the chair, it has to be planned. I have to go, like, properly really through a travel agency, then it becomes a bit more expensive. Then they have to phone up the resort to access, you know, access and stuff like that. And then only more recently as well is, like, you know, when you have the transfers from the airport to the hotel on the coach,
Yeah.
only more recently, really, over the past few years, where holiday companies then will pay half of, or they only pay half of a taxi fee, so I can't go on a coach. So they'll pay one way, but I got to pay the other way. And we did have they put me off on holiday again. We went on to Cyprus 2-3 years ago, and then coming back, we had the taxi booked. You know, I don't like things being out of my hands. You know what I mean? You know, like you like doing stuff yourself. So I know it's done. The travel agency obviously does it. So you see all the passengers getting on the coach because it's like a early, you know, hours of the morning sort of flight. Then you got the kids and everything. Everyone's been out for ages. You know how it is in the hotel. You get kicked out at dinner time, and then you're not going to the hotel like till 11 o'clock at night. Taxi guy comes up, and then he wanted me to pay a certain amount, which we'd already been done. Then it starts in the fucking argument. I try not to lose my temper because I don't want this guy to just obviously go off because we're not getting to any airport then like everyone's a bit worried then, and then because if I wasn't in a chair, they'd be off on the coach. They'd be pounding on the coach and fucking gone. And I thought for myself, just fucking go. I'll just fucking stay here then, you know what I mean? Sort myself out, do whatever I have to do and just go. But obviously like, we stayed together. In the end, I got in this, he passed me this phone, chatting to this person, they're trying to communicate with him, got to the other end, and he was going to charge me. I just said, well, he's going to charge me whatever money when I get the other end. I ain't paying it. I don't give a fuck, you know, because I don't need to pay it. But luckily, when we got the other end, a rep had turned up. He was told to go there, and he spoke to the guy, and it was all sorted. But the stress of that, it was just fucking nightmare. You know what I mean? You've had a nice holiday, and then you got some dickhead who was trying to charge me. Well, basically, he was trying to rip me off. Even though he'd been paid by the company, he was trying to get an extra few quid himself. And I suspect, because I'm in a wheelchair and vulnerable, he thought I was vulnerable, so he's going to take advantage.
Yeah,
and that's what he was doing.
Fucking
you can see
arsehole.
he was trying to take advantage. That's when I was trying not to lose my temper and fucking hit him or something, end up in prison in fucking Cyprus or whatever. So obviously I got my family with me. It's late at night, and then I was trying to keep my calm, thinking what we do is get to the other end, we'll sort it out at the other end. After about 20 minutes argument, sort it out at the other end, at least with the airport then. You know, and whatever happens then, you can get on the plane. I'll stay and sort it out if it happens, but you get on the plane. So it just becomes an absolute nightmare. So we haven't been on holiday since. It's just fucking. They can go on holiday. They've been on holiday sometimes themselves, and I just stay home because it's just easier. Because then they can get a cheaper holiday, and they've got no worry about access and stuff like that. Just makes life a lot better. Because obviously they get to enjoy stuff. I just be at home. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So I've enjoyed myself many years, obviously, where they're just kids and they haven't. So that's just the way life is. You know what I mean? It just sort of puts a little barriers in it. It's not me, it's not me putting barriers in the way or them. It's just the way society is still, you know, they're putting barriers, you know, in your way, which you're trying not to, you know, do. So it just becomes a bit of a pain sort of trying to organise stuff like that or anything really. So that's, you know, you don't want to say you don't want to be in a chair, because say it's given me many opportunities on the stuff that I've done. And if I wasn't in a chair, then I wouldn't be doing the stuff, and I wouldn't be talking to you guys as well, you know. So it gives me a lot of opportunities because of that.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
On the downside of it, it's, you know, it can be a massive sort of inconvenience, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. The frustrating thing is it's not my inconvenience.
Yeah.
It's not me that's fucking making it inconvenient. It's the person in front of me that's making it inconvenient.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? It's not my attitude. It's not the way I'm approaching it. It's they're stopping me from doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just let me do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you think I can't do something, let me do it. If I can't fucking do it, I won't be able to do it. Just let me do it.
That's what I'm saying. Say, obviously, you just pointed it out there. It's not you. It's the person or it's the thing in front of you. This object that you can't control, right? So you already know how you've been doing your things. You know what you're capable of doing. You know who you are. You know yourself more than anyone else. So one thing that we've have advised a lot of our guests or people that we have spoken to in the past is that, and you know for sure what I'm probably going to say, you can only control what you can control.
Yeah.
And what you can do, you know what you can do. So if that person in front of you is telling you you can't do it, no, I'm deaf to them. Thank you. What you're saying, I don't understand your language. Like, I speak my own language. I know what I can do, and I'm gonna prove myself that I can do what you're telling me I can't do. I'm not gonna prove to you. I'm gonna carry on prove myself that I can do it. And I think that's, and I think you've had that mentality from when you've had your first obstacle, your first challenge. I think you've had it. So I don't know if it's right of me sort of trying to remind you, but you should and could still have that same mentality that you've had from when you first had your first obstacle, that no matter what you went through, you was lifting straight away. Even though they said you can't lift, you would take your dumbbells, banging out the bicep curls, bang, 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 bang. You get what I'm saying? So if someone's trying to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that, mate, I had surgery and I got told I couldn't lift anything. I was banging out my dumbbells. Then I went on to do this. I wanted to do that. I wanted to win sports personality person of the year and this year. So, and all this time I've been told I couldn't do it. But did you listen to those people? No.
No.
Did that bother you? No. It drove you to be better. It drove you to show yourself that you could do it. You weren't doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself, your family.
Yeah. I think one thing what you do get in, like, even in para sport now is you still get like stuff in the way, even though like bizarrely you're in a para sport, you know, everyone's disabled and that's the reason you're doing this sport. And also that's the reason I believe like them coaches and staff have got their job. Yeah. They got their job because of people like me and my colleagues around them. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have that job. So they should be grateful of that in one way, if you know what I mean. But also when I'm there, I always get barriers in front of me. Like my coach sometimes says like on my right hand side, I've got like neurological problems because I've got like motor neuron disease as well. And the neurological, I've got no sensation in my right side and that. So when it comes to paddling, sometimes my grip goes. I don't know. It's a connection between my brain and my arm, and it can't explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even I can't explain it, and neurologists can't explain it. Just sometimes, some weeks, some days, or months, or whatever, it just doesn't work. So then you get your coach on the side holding the paddle, doing this, saying, "Feels all right." And you're thinking, "Fucking, how many years have you known me? You know what I mean? I've been here like 12 years.
Yeah.
This is what I face sometimes on the daily thing when it comes to my sport, even with my coaches and staff. They keep saying, I don't understand why you can't do this. Such and such can do it. Fucking, this is what I get on a daily basis, even as an elite athlete. And that just fucking winds me up massively. You know what I mean? Because I'm almost having to justify my disability. I shouldn't have to explain to you what my disability is, what I can and can't do. This is what I'm fucking doing, and this is how I do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why should I just justify, especially being in an elite sport, why am I like this? It's like you're almost saying that I'm no good at it because I'm fucking disabled or something. That's what I'm getting in my head. You know what I mean? You know, when you hear people.
Yeah.
And it gets me down sometimes in the sport when I'm doing it because I'm getting these barriers in front of me from people that shouldn't be putting barriers up.
You know what I've learned, right? I know you do the sport that you do. I do the sport that I do. Bids does it obviously on an occasionally basis as well. The people that try to put barriers in our lives are individuals that can't do what we're doing. I don't care what they do, who they are, but those people that always say you can't do this, you can't do that, are those individuals that actually will struggle to do what you're doing. That's why for a long time I have personally just focused on me. I don't read what fans say. I don't go out there searching for like, oh, did I play well? Did I do good? Did I play bad? I know myself if I had a bad game, if I had a good game. I don't need anyone to tell me.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be told, oh, you had an okay game, but it could have been. No, I know if I could have been better. I know if I gave it 120%. I know if I didn't. I know if I needed to be a bit better. And to be fair, for a long time, I've not felt like I should have left a bit more on the pitch. No, I've been given my all And that's because I've been focusing more on myself.
Yeah.
And even bids, even like with the podcast that we do, for example, bids, we started it not knowing anything, did we? And bids now has just he smashes it. And I'm always messaging, how the fuck did you do that, bro? How did you do this? But I'll guarantee you, someone else who's running a podcast will actually come and tell him that he's doing it wrong. Because they're jealous of what he's doing, of how we're running the page, of what we're trying to achieve, of how we're trying to raise content and awareness. Those that will tell you doing something wrong, majority of the times are because they're either jealous of you or they either can't do what you're doing.
Do you want to say to them, guys?
Do
you know what you say to them, guys?
Yeah.
Well, fuck you, man. Don't go in my space telling me what to do. Shit's going down, boy.
You know what? To be fair, for a while ago, I've lost my head and I've been watching what I say. And
no, I don't do that.
The way we listen to criticism is by watching how that person's speaking to us, the language they're using, right?
Yeah.
That's when you can then say, you know what? He does want my best, like the best interest of me. He wants me to do well. But it's only down to you to recognize that. So you can tell the difference when someone's just telling you you're not good enough because they don't want you to actually do well, or they're saying you need to improve at this. There's difference.
Yeah.
You can't do this because you're not good enough. No. You know what? Let's take a step back. Let's work on this and make you better. Then it gives you that bit of like, okay. Then you're not thinking, fuck, I'm shit.
Yeah.
You're thinking there's room for improvement.
Don't you find there was like an athlete, when you're within the game, as in like, just within what the sport you do and the sport I do, it's hard to sort of almost criticize what people do or say what you really think, if you know what I mean. Because obviously, because sport is quite sort of fickle. If you don't fit in, you can be sort of booty, can't you? Whether you're good or not. And as an athlete, you've got to be really careful how you. It's like even just like being out. If I'm in any sort of GB kit and I was out, you have to be careful about what you're saying because you look down and think, oh shit, I got my British top on. You know what I mean? You just you're in a shop or something, so you have to be. The way you approach things is differently to what you perhaps would normally, and also you probably do that anyway. But when you're within the sport, it's quite hard to sort of tell people how things are until you're out of the sport, because sometimes they just don't listen because they want you to be sort of this sort of person. And if someone else is, for example, in our sport is making a lot of noise, and it upsets the group, then our psych would say something like, well, we have to sort of adapt to it and basically change the way we are effectively, to fit in with them. But I'm not that sort of person. I'm a person that tells someone to the face what it is. You know what I mean? If I don't like it, that's just the way I'm brought up. I won't sugarcoat it and I won't tell you lies or anything. I just say it is. But then we're not allowed to say that sometimes. We have to sort of do it in a different way or not do it at all. And that's quite hard to sort of handle.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just difference though. Now I'll go back to, with me, I'm more of I observe things properly. And if there's something I need to tell them that they're not doing, I tend to just take it up on me, right? And I would act, say like if I want someone to be more aggressive or whatever, or show a bit more passion, I then take it up upon me. So hopefully that will then inspire or drive that individual or the individuals a bit more and be like, yo, he's just went up there and just smashed that ball out, header, whatever it may be. I'm too calm and I'm too chilled, but when it comes to things when I'm not happy, if I speak, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man, nah.
It must be,
It's over to you,
yeah.
man.
It must be hard. It must be hard. It must be hard. But before we end, what's up and coming, mate? Have you got any events happening?
Well, hopefully we got the Paralympics this year. We've got final selection for the athletes. Final selection is towards the end of April. That'll be at Nottingham. It's like a closed event, obviously, just in case regattas races can't continue. So we have our own Olympic and Paralympic sort of selection, so that won't be cancelled.
Yeah.
Then hopefully we've got a World Cup race in Szeged in Hungary.
Nice.
That's probably a bit more unsure whether that happens in May or not. It is actually second round qualification for the Olympic and Paralympic spots, but most of our both spots were done in 2019. And then obviously if we don't do Szeged in Hungary, which potentially what's happening in Europe, the cases at the moment, they may only take people that need to go. A lot of this stuff's out of our hands. It's out of the British canoeing hands. It's up to the Hungarians. It's up to the organisers of the event. It's up to our country and travel and stuff. The way things work.
Yeah.
So we have different scenarios. But bizarrely, my first race since 2019 could be the heats in Tokyo on the start line on the games. That could be my first race since 2019. Yeah, I didn't. My last race was August 2019. So my first race could be the heat on the biggest stage in the world
this year.
Yeah, and that'll be the first race since 2019.
I'll be watching.
Yeah.
I'll be watching. I'll be there.
So that'll be
Yeah.
Unfortunately, obviously, we're not allowed. Obviously, as you probably know, definitely international spectators aren't allowed to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about domestic people watching yet. They haven't sort of said that. But I suppose it'd be weird without sort of crowds and stuff there. But to be honest, when I was at Rio, even though it was a sellout, obviously a lot of noise going on. I didn't really hear anything. It was very weird. You're out there on the water. Your coaches are more nervous than you are because they've obviously trained you up to this. They let you go out onto the final, in front of all the cameras, obviously want you to win, do well. And then it's out like we know, it's in my hands then. It's not what the coaches have done or what they say or anything. Then it's all down to me on that day. It's not what they've done.
Yeah.
And then they sort of more nervous than the athletes are, to be honest. But I didn't really, when I was racing down the Rio course, I didn't really hear anything at all. So I'm not sure. I think with our sport, some sports different. If you're in athletics, a big stadium, and you're running around the track and you got no crowd noise, or the football, that's probably a lot different. But when you're out on the water, doing a 200-meter as fast as you can,
yeah,
you don't notice or think about the crowd. You probably know yourself in football or in athletics when everyone's sort of cheering the crowd on. It's not something that we would do in the boat.
Yeah.
It's not part of our sport, I guess. So not having the crowd in that, I suppose, isn't a massive miss. But it would be for other sports to not have any support, any noise there. I'm not bothered about. My family wouldn't come out anyway. It's just too much hassle and just too expensive, really.
Yeah.
But so not having a crowd, and it's not massive. People do ask, what it's like without. In fact, someone this morning mentioned what it'd be like without a crowd, but I don't think it'd be a massive issue. To be honest, just to get to the games at this stage now, because everyone's done an extra year, an extra 18 months training. It's a lot on the body. Some athletes were looking to retire. They'd be doing other stuff by now. And it's when you got stuff in your head that you think you might want to do, and you've got an idea, then it all gets cancelled, and then you've got to continue.
Yeah.
Then you've got to stay fit, healthy, and also mentally up for it as well. And not having raced, we say not racing since 2019, not seeing any competition, any athletes, or that's quite a hard thing to do as well. It's Yeah, we do like domestic sort of racing, what we call like hot pots every so often, where we sort of line up and we'll have a start list, and we have to be on the start line at this particular time, and you're racing against whoever teammate got this time, maybe different people you don't train with normally. But it isn't the same because there's no consequence, even though we do it because we put ourselves under pressure. We know there's no like in the back of your mind, there's no consequence to it.
Yeah.
So it sort of works, but it doesn't work. It's not really, it's not a proper race, I guess, is it? It's not like going against the rest of the guys from around the world on the start line.
Yeah.
Going as fast as you can, and sort of.
So what date is that around?
The games.
Yeah.
I think is it. I should know, shouldn't I? I think it's like I'm sure like there only so many, something around something like 24th of August. I think our final is our main race is like 5th of September, if it's still the same. Because I think literally we're the last day of the games on the final for the sprint canoe, which in one way helps as well, because that, like for Rio, we don't come until the second week into the village. If we're allowed to do that this time, they say there's still things obviously being talked in the background, how things will be handled, but we'd be like in second week, so we get rid of that noise and we stay in our own little bubble, so we know what we're doing as athletes. It's a very sort of surreal experience, really. Like World Championships, you get a lot of people there. Obviously, you got the Olympic side at the same time, the para side at World Championships, and you could have like 400 or 500 people on the para side, let alone the Olympic side.
Yeah.
So it's busy, crowds, and the noise is buzzing. But when you came to Rio, because there was only like 6 boats from each country maximum. There's only Australia and Great Britain that qualified all 6 boats, and then the others might have the odd 1 or 2 boats in the class or whatever. So when you're there, it was dead. There's like no one there.
No way.
Because the water's empty, because there's not even half the athletes.
Yeah.
There's like a handful of athletes, really. So it was like when people say like what the games experience like, a Worlds was more of a buzz than the games, just because of the amount of athletes that were there. And this is like almost taking away all the noise and everything and getting straight to the final, and you've just got the 9 people lining up in the final, and everything else has been done months ago or something. That's what it sort of felt like, I guess.
Yeah, so I want to wish you luck, mate. I'll be definitely watching. I will be definitely watching.
It'll be a funny time, like you're gonna have to be up then early.
I'll be up.
Like the time difference.
I'll be
time difference. It's like middle of the night, isn't it? I think when we finish racing, I think everyone in the UK starts to get out of bed. I think something like that.
Let us know. Let us know. Drop me an email when you definitely know what's happening, and we'll be up.
Oh yeah,
we will be up, Monty.
We will be.
We will be. Well, I want to thank you again, man, for giving us your time, your inspiration, your story. It's been awesome. We've had another roller coaster as well. Good.
Man.
Yeah, cheers for talking to you. You know what I mean? It's a good thing you lads do. So I say, like, obviously, like, with the disability side of thing, if people can perhaps understand why stuff happens, you do stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like most people, to be honest, don't know someone who's in a wheelchair, do they?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, that's right.
Even though there's a lot of people in wheelchairs, they don't know. There's still a society. We're still in a society where even like kids, for example, if you're in Europe, even years ago when I was hand cycling, there'd be kids out pushing in the wheelchairs, playing tag. Loads of them they were. And I was thinking, this is like unusual, because in England, even now, our kids are wrapped in cotton wool that are disabled or in wheelchairs. You don't see them. For example, even recently, before lockdown, going to I couldn't get into a particular shop. I won't say what the shop was. I couldn't get in there, and so knocking on the door, so I need to go in there, and the person that owns the shop says, I can't get in. He says, "Oh no, we don't normally have wheelchairs in."
No.
Yeah. No, that's what they say. I say, yeah, you don't have wheelchairs in because you can't get in. So that's still, even now, mate, even around in Stoke-on-Trent in this area, we've still got mentality like that, where because a wheelchair hasn't gone in that shop, they don't want to go in that shop.
No
That's because
way.
you can't get in that shop.
No way, man. That's madness, isn't it?
And that's a still. And to be honest, like if I'm brutally honest now, and I'm going to be, and people may not like it, but out of everywhere in the world that I've been, and I've been a lot of places around the world, Stoke-on-Trent so far is the only place where I've been physically and verbally abused for being in a wheelchair.
Really?
Not because of who I am, and that's not particularly that long ago. It's pre-lockdown, but even some people coming up and knocking on my door, call me a disabled bastard. I don't even know them from Adam. You know what I mean? Kids, people. Yeah, I don't even know who knows I live there, whatever. And it's the only place in the whole world that I've been physically and verbally abused for being disabled. And I know it's because I'm disabled, because they call me a disabled bastard or twat or whatever, and they've mentioned the word disabled. That's the same as calling someone black, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're a black whatever.
Yeah.
So you know it's a race thing then, not because it's just because it's you. And it's the only place I've been that's done that, which is a bit of a letdown.
Wow.
You know, I've never told anyone else that, because obviously, like, you know, the city as a whole, majority of it is a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, but then you get dickheads like that.
Yeah, and you know, and the places that I've been, you know, I've been places that obviously, you know, even still communist places, and you'd probably expect a bit of abuse from somewhere like that, but there's been none at all. There's been more. In fact, one place in the Czech Republic, in Loney, there was years ago, there was a bus. They've got like eco buses, they called them, and I didn't realise, me and my mates, there's no one in the wheelchair in the whole town, and they got a ramp for their bus to get on.
Yeah.
And obviously my wife, speaking the language, had spoke to the driver, explained, and the driver come out, helped us onto the bus and everything. Don't get that in this country, not at all.
That's insane.
You know what I mean? So that's a place where there's not even anyone's in a wheelchair there.
That
was probably about 15 years ago.
There's a lot of people that don't notice that, like myself, don't notice it. You know, it's not because I'm being, you know, ignorant. I'm just continuing with my own life, and like just like stories like that. You don't want to believe it. If you know what I mean. You don't want to believe people do that, but it fucking happens. It happens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it probably happens to, obviously not just me. It probably happens to, you know, a lot of people. But
yeah,
you know, maybe people haven't got the, you know, balls to say. I did try and go after them.
Why
you know
not?
What I mean, I'm saying,
why
I'm not a person that's going to fucking sit there and take it. I was straight out the fucking door. But obviously being in a chair, and I thought, well, should I get in my car and try and run them over? I don't know. Put you in a fucking wheelchair. I know. You say no, but I won't do you in permanently, because I'd want you to suffer by being in a chair. But you know, but it is in the back of my mind.
About to lose again. About to lose our heads again. Let's just go back, okay? Just go back, rewind a little bit, and let's just end it on a positive, man.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we will end it on a positive.
We will. Yes.
We will, because I'm definitely going to start a disabled bounty hunter. Doing it. That's the positive. In the next couple of years, you'll see me in a bounty hunter car, driving through car parks. And if you're parked in a disabled bay without a badge, then
you're getting clamped.
No, even worse. It's going to be a tire slasher. Get out the car, tire slasher. We're done.
Are you going to wear one of these?
Yes. Oh my God. He's ready for it. Balaclava.
Ready, look. Yeah.
Yes,
Let's
mate.
go. Want it?
Nobody knows it. Oh, it's because of the country it's from, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
There, aren't you?
Nah,
nobody step out of line there, parking out of bays, would they?
Nah. Nah, but it's been good, man. Like, it's been inspiring. And for those, like I said, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You've heard Ian's story now. You've heard what he has to go through. Not just him, other people who are less able to do things have to experience on a daily basis. So please please, if you're going food shopping, if you're going anywhere and he has a disabled bag parking space, do not park there. Just everyone driving around, because you wouldn't like it if it was you, your family, whoever in your family going through that, and they're having to experience what all these individuals, all these human beings are experiencing on a daily basis, man.
Yeah.
We're here to make a difference. You are in this world to make a change as well, to help, inspire, encourage, and raise awareness. You're not just here to just get by and just get the piss, man. Fucking, you know.
Yes, but on
Yeah,
that,
no,
note,
I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like,
Yeah,
share,
it's great,
subscribe, keep raising awareness. And we love you all, man. Just be kind to one another.
Ian,
Real.
thanks for your time, bro. It's been awesome.
Right, mate. Cheers for that.
Absolutely awesome. And we will be ready and watching.
We will.
Yeah, ready. Games time, yeah. About time we had some sport, you know what I mean?
Yes,
On the
about
TV.
time. About time.
Stand by.